Are you ready to see me unlock every achievement in Far Cry 3? Yeah? Me too. Let's get into it. But before we begin, let's get the account totals up. So we got 153 achievements so far with 3,200 gamer score. Pretty nice stuff. We'll slot that in the top right corner. We'll leave that up there. We'll see that tick up as the video progresses. And same again for the Far Cry 3 achievement tracker. So there's 50 achievements in this game. So we'll slot that tracker in the top left. And again, we'll see that tick up as we progress through this video. Pretty nice stuff. And with all that sorted, let's get into it. We hit that new game, we hit that survivor mode, which is the normal mode or the medium mode, whatever you want to call it, because there's no achievements for any difficulty, so why make it hard on ourselves when we can just go for that very medium. So the game begins and everything's looking good, everything's looking sunny, fun, good vibes all around until we get captured by Fast, who is a pirate. And yeah, he's going to ransom us off, but he tells us we got some fun in the morning. We're going to have a lot of fun together while we wait for the money. And we decide we're not going to stick around and wait for that. We're going to get out of here. So we start escaping. And we pretty much make it out. We check the map to see if we can find out where he's keeping our friends. And then boom, our brother gets shot. He's bleeding out. And then Vas tells us to run, Forrest, run. And that's exactly what I did. I ran as fast as I could. I got out of there, made it to this bridge, ran across it, and this helicopter shot out from underneath me. I fell into the water, and then boom, achievement time. We got the first achievement, which is First Blood, which is to escape the pirate camp and survive in the wilderness. Pretty good stuff. And then we get rescued. We come to, and there's this guy called Dennis, and apparently while I'm sleeping, he decides, I'm going to put a tattoo on your arm. I don't think that's what you should be doing to people, Dennis, when they're unconscious, but you know, it's done now, I suppose. So Dennis shows us around a little bit, gives us a little tutorial here and there, and then we intercept a phone call from the pirates. They've got an American, which is probably one of our friends, so we head to the base. We kill a couple of pirates. Turns out our friend is not there, which is pretty sad, but then Dennis tells us that some doctor dude has our friend, and they're safe. So, considering they're safe, let's go on to our next achievement. Let's do some hunting, eh? So we grab our first Path of the Hunter quest, which is to grab a shotgun and take out 5 dogs. No problem. We just give them the bap, 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 bap. And yeah, we get the bagged and tagged achievement, which is to complete your first Path of the Hunter quest, which is pretty nice. And then straight after this, we heard some gunfire. We heard some death sounds. Wonder what was going on. Had to go check it out. Some pirates were on the floor dead, surrounded by Komodo dragons. Pretty bad times because they all run straight after me. I take one out. I got the Hunter Hunted achievement, which is pretty nice. And then this cheek boy took a little nibble on my toes. Ankle bite. And then we grabbed ourselves a wanted dead poster. We killed some people in a car to grab their car and then get to the target quicker. But before we got into the car, we got grabbed by another Komodo dragon. I don't know where he came from. He's a sneaky bitch. But yeah, he took a chomp on that ankle. And then we made it to our target. There was a dog, which, you know, they're the cheeky boys. They can sniff you out. So I threw a rock, distracted that dog, and then wrapped around to the right hand side away from the dog. So we throw down a little rock, pull some boys over. This guy comes over. We start sneaking up on him because, you know, we want to take him out. And he looks directly at me and then turns around, which was fortunate for me because, you know, he could have spotted me though. And then, yeah, we took him out and then we got a little bit closer to that leader. He wants me to shoot him. I say no, I'm going to put a knife in your neck, have some of that, and then achievement pop. In cold blood. Pretty good stuff, right? That's to complete a wanted dead quest. And then we took this guy out as well, because, you know, why not? And then we made our way to that doctor guy. He has our friend Daisy, but she's burning up. We need to get her some kind of antidote. So he sends us off to the west, to the cave. And during our exploration in this cave, we step on some mushrooms, their fumes go up, and then we get a little high. You know, standard kind of high stuff. You know, colors go everywhere. Everything's changing color. There's a greenhouse in the cave for some reason, and then that flies away, and then we have to chase it. We get to it, we fall off a little cliff, and then we come to, and we find the mushrooms, which is pretty good. And then we make our way out of the cave and back to the doctor. We give him the mushroom. He makes the little antidote. We thank him for saving our friend. He says, think nothing of it. And then we get the achievement Magic Mushroom, which is, that's pretty nice. And then we picked up another achievement straight away. We just leveled up a couple of times and unlocked our 5th skill, giving us the achievement Inked Up, which is pretty good. We then go for a little ride on a jet ski. We see an outpost that needs to be liberated, so we stop off there. We get the camera out, tag a couple of people, and then we make our way into the camp. We try to go for the stealthy approach. We take out one dude, but this dog is like on it. He hears me take him out and he comes straight for me, revealing my position to everyone. But somehow I managed to take out a few more people and the alarm doesn't get set off. I guess I killed the people that were running towards the alarm. But yeah, so we took out the final dude and we got the achievement Unheard, which is to do one of these outposts without the alarm being triggered. So, you know, I'll take it. It's pretty nice. Then we did another Path of the Hunter quest where we had to kill 5 deer with a sniper rifle. No problem there. We collected those pelts, hides, or whatever you call them. And then we crafted some upgrades, giving us the achievement Artsy Crafty, which is craft 5 upgrades, which is pretty nice. And then soon after this, I found myself in enemy territory. I was trying to stick in the tree line so I don't get caught. And I looked to my right, and what's that looking at me? And yeah, it's a tiger. We're just staring at each other lovingly. Until I decide that I probably should put this boy down before he becomes a problem. Which then reveals my position, so all these guys get mad at me. This tiger jumps on me, attacks me after mash X. And then we hit him with the machete. Get off me, you dumb cat. And then, yeah, we put him down, so that's pretty good. And then I saw a buffalo, and I was like, you know what, let me kill this buffalo real quick. I can use some buffalo hide, right, for some upgrades and stuff. And then we got the achievement to add 50 journal updates into our journal, which is nice. I then attempted to get the achievement They Never Saw It Coming, which is to get a kill from a glider, parachute, or zip line. Which went really bad, and I also realized that I needed the skill touch to be able to do that anyway, so you know, that was pointless. But I did get the achievement to kill 4 people in 1 explosion, which was pretty nice, along with liberating my 3rd outpost, which is, you know, double nice. And then we attempted our first rare hunt, so we had to use the bow and take out a rare golden tiger, which was actually a lot easier than I was expecting. We found the tiger, shot him in the face, and shot him in the face again, and he went down. We skinned that boy, and then we got the achievement Poacher, which is to, you know, get a rare hide or whatever. Pretty nice, right? After completing our hunt, we decided it's time to continue with the main story. So we went back to Dennis, and he told us that Vass was planning to attack the village. So, you know, in ways to help them, we had to go to a logging camp where they're storing a bunch of weapons and blow up those weapons. So that's exactly what we did. We popped over to that logging camp, took out a few boys, attached some explosives to the weapon stockpile, got out of there, and then the whole thing went kablooey. And once that was dealt with, we attempted our first trial, so we activated that and just killed a bunch of boys in the trial. It wasn't too bad, you know. Infinite ammo and all that, so that was pretty good. And then, yeah, we beat one of the scores and got ourselves the achievement The Trials Begin, which is pretty nice, followed by the achievement to spend 5,000 bucks, which is the money to burn achievement, which is pretty nice as well. And then we progressed the main story a bit more, so we found out the location of our girlfriend Lisa, so we headed over to this camp and took out all the pirates that we could find, and then, you know, we killed the camp operator and got the prison keys, so we headed inside the prison to go rescue her. But it turns out this was all just a big ruse and a trap, so, you know, it was just a recording of Lisa, and she wasn't actually here, and then we got knocked out and got taken to her, which is, you know, kind of helpful. And then Vass does a nice spin with some gasoline, chucks the container on my face, which is great, and then he says that my lighter sucks, which is just plain rude, and then he uses a match and sets the whole place on fire, which is pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. But you know, we do that classic rock in the chair, we fall down, and then the whole stone floor breaks beneath us. We must be pretty fat for that to happen, I'm not gonna lie. Jason's a chunky boy. But then what about that? We start making our way back up to Lisa, we save her, we untie her, and then we both make a leap of faith and absolutely deck it. I mean, that was a pretty god-awful jump, I'm not gonna lie. But you know, we get up, we find ourselves a car, we push the car, and then we're inside the car, I get a grenade launcher, and then we start sending grenades at the cars that are chasing us. It's pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie. And then, yeah, and then we get away, and then we get the achievement, the worst day ever, which, you know, is pretty accurate. It's a pretty bad day. Which was quickly followed by the achievement Needle Exchange, which is to craft 25 syringes. Very nice. I then get a call from Dennis, invite me to go see Citra, the leader of his people. And yeah, I asked them for the power to destroy Vass and all that kind of stuff, and she gives me a drink. I decide to drink it. You know, I go a bit loopy and have some visions and stuff, such as playing poker with the boys under the water, which is pretty spicy. And then we saw some dagger, some ceremonial dagger, which seems important. And then I come to with Dennis tattooing my arm again. This guy needs to stop tattooing people when they're unconscious. It's not cool, man. And then we got the achievement One of Us, which is to complete the initiation, which is pretty nice. Which was shortly followed by the achievement Toxophilite. I think that's how you pronounce it. If that's wrong, then I apologize and, you know, correct me in the comments. I don't know. But, you know, it's the achievement to shoot someone with an arrow from 70 meters or more away, which was pretty spicy. It's a bit of a toughie, but, you know, we got it. And then we thought we'd do a quick little supply drop, you know, help these boys out, get some supplies as well. And there was a bear on the road, so, you know, that wasn't cool, but he kind of got out of the way, so, you know, it wasn't too bad. It's not like he chased me or anything. And then we got to the end and got the achievement road trip to complete our first supply drop mission, which was, you know, it's pretty good. And then we spent a bit of time liberating some more outposts, doing some more hunts to get some more materials for some upgrades and stuff. They're always going to be useful. And then we climbed another radio tower and unlocked the achievement full bars for, you know, reactivating 9 radio towers, which is pretty good. And then as we ziplined down off that radio tower, there was a tiger waiting for me at the bottom. Like, what is he doing now? So we had to put him down real quick. And then in celebration, we collected the last couple of paint jobs for the MP5, giving us the achievement Aftermarket Junkie, which is to collect all the attachments and paint jobs for one weapon, which is, yeah, pretty good. We then continued that main story and met up with this Agent Willis Huntley, and he told us all about Hoyt, which is Vasa's boss, and he gave us a mission to take the flamethrower and destroy his drug fields. And yeah, that's exactly what we did. It was a pretty fun mission. The music was good, but sadly I can't play it because of copyright issues. You get it, you understand, I'm sure you do. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, we burnt some drugs. And then this clearly annoys Hoyt. He comes to the island and he gets his transport manifest stolen by some natives, which is good for us because that will have the information about where Oliver's being taken. So we head over to this village that's being attacked by Hoyt. And yeah, we need to save this guy that's in the striped t-shirt. He's running through a minefield, so you know, that's good fun. But yeah, we make it to him and he says, no, I'm not giving you that stuff because it's in my house. We need to go to the village to get it, so we have to protect him. We run to the village, we run to his house, protect him along the way, taking out some boys here and there. And then he needs to search for it, so we have to keep him safe while he's searching. So we just stand on the balcony and take out some more boys. He finds it, we take pictures, we send it to Agent Willis Huntley. And then, yeah, he gives us the coordinates and it's off to save Oliver we go.
Good. I'm on my way.
While we're waiting for Oliver to show up in his convoy, we start scoping about with the camera and we tag a bunch of enemies and it gives us the achievement Island Paparazzi. And we also tag where Oliver is, which is, you know, that's pretty handy because we're here to save him. And then we need to protect Oliver, so we miss our first shot because I'm an absolute scrub, but everyone scatters after that. And then we, you know, we aim true and hit all these pirates. We take them out one after the other. Pretty easy stuff. And then we hit this, there's a guard running, and we hit this explosive barrel, and he just goes straight up into the sky. I don't know where he went, but it doesn't matter because he's gone. And then Oliver's got the boat, he swings round, we jump down, we jump on the boat. And then it's pure chaos, we blow up a dock, we blow up some people on a bridge, which is pretty nice. And then they send a helicopter after us, like that's gonna stop us. So then we just start gunning that helicopter down, it goes down, Jason gives it a good old woo. And then, yeah, we got our stoner back, so hands off my stoner, that's the achievement name, and we got it. And then we drop off Oliver into the cave with Lisa and Daisy, so they're all reunited, it's all good there. And then we get a call from the agent, he's zeroed in on our friend Keith, which is pretty nice, you know, that's, that was pretty quick. But yeah, Hoyt sold him to some guy called Buck, so we gotta go over there and speak to him, see what's up. So Buck seems like he's got a couple screws loose, he's yeah, he's a little bit eccentric, but he basically wants the dagger that we saw on our vision, so now we've got to go hunting for this dagger. If we get the dagger, then we can get Keith. Sounds like a good trade to me. Our first stop in our quest to find this dagger was to board the ship Nostalgia, which was overrun by pirates. And as we drove past it on the jet ski, I jumped off and accidentally fell into the boat, so I was kind of trapped underneath the map in a sense. And yeah, I didn't really know what to do, but I did realize that I could just jump back onto the jet ski and then everything was fine. And then yeah, we made our way into the boat, we killed a couple of pirates, you know, made our way through, no problem there. We found a laptop, downloaded a bunch of stuff, picked up a compass, and then the laptop was booby-trapped, so, you know, this explosion went off, and then the boat started sinking, and then we swam through the boat. We broke a cheeky window and got out of there, and then the whole boat, you know, sank. But, yeah. We got the compass, so that's pretty good. We followed that compass and found ourselves an old bunker that again was overrun with pirates, because why wouldn't there be pirates here, right? So yeah, we snuck about a bit, we stabbed someone in the back, we threw a rock, we jumped on someone's head, we stabbed his buddy next to him, and then we threw a grenade, killed some people, grenades went off, people died, and then we exploded some big metal doors. Which then led us to a treasure room and the second piece of the compass, which was pretty good, you know, that's another step forward. And then we followed that compass again to an old mining tunnel, and as you might have guessed, there's pirates in there, because why would there not be? So we snuck about, we killed a couple more of them, and then we found the third piece of the compass, which is very nice. But what wasn't good was the fact we had a small cave in which caused the brazier to topple over, catching fire to this whole Chinese temple. That had a chain reaction, so everything started tumbling down. including this big gong bell thing, which was pretty cool. But yeah, we had to get out of there, so we hightailed it to the exit, we jumped over a big gap, and then we made it back to the surface. And then we put the third compass piece into the compass, which then led us to a tomb which held the ceremonial dagger. But of course there's a bunch of pirates there, because why is that not? And yes, we fought some guys, and then this dude ran away on this zipline, which was a little bit rude. But then I was thinking maybe I can get him with the zipline takedown to get me that achievement, which I 100% did. So I got the They Never Saw It Coming achievement, which was pretty nice, because that was one achievement I wasn't too sure about how I was going to get. But yeah, we got it. Good stuff. And then we continued on through the dungeon, sniping some pirates whenever we saw them to clear the way. And then we came to a statue, which we used the compass to reveal the hidden tomb, which was pretty cool. And then, yeah, we got to the tomb, opened up the tomb, grabbed the dagger, and then that activated a bunch of traps. And so we had to run for it. We ran across the tomb and then slid underneath this small crawl space, and then this ceiling started kind of like dropping on us. So we had to crawl through that. We managed to get through, and we had the dagger, so it meant that we can trade that for Keith, which was pretty good. So we headed back to Buck. And as you can imagine, Buck's pretty happy to get this dagger, so he wants his hands on it, but we say, nope, not just yet. We want Keith first. He throws us the key. We give him the dagger, and then we go check on Keith. Keith looks a little bit worse for wear, and then Buck comes downstairs and basically says, you ain't going nowhere. And then for some reason, the room changes, some light bulbs are hanging from the ceiling, and the floor looks like a dance floor kind of situation. But yeah, we have a knife fight. We press a couple buttons, we beat him up, we give him a big old headbutt, and then we kill him with his own knife. So have some of that, mate. And then we get the achievement Retake Wall Street, which is basically to save Keith, which is, yeah, pretty good. I then returned to Citra and gave her the dagger. She then promised me power if I helped her to save some of her warriors that are being held captive. So I went to this village to set up an ambush. They gave me some C4. I threw my own C4 on the floor and this truck levitated, stopping me from planting C4, which was kind of annoying. I mean, just look how ridiculous this is. Like, what is going on here? I figured it out and we got going. So then the convoy came in and it wasn't pirate. It was some kind of military, like a private army kind of situation. But we took those guys out anyway, and then the transport started making a run for it. So then I chased it with a big old truck, smashing some boys out the way, caught up to it, took out a couple more boys, and then went to save the warriors. And then big surprise, it's Vas in there. He hits me in the head. And yeah, it's bad times for me, really. So, you know, I come to, I'm all tied up. He kicks the cinder block off into some water. I slide down. I managed to escape from these bonds and then, you know, making my way up to the surface. But, you know, I got no weapons now and we got to get out of here. So we start off by being a bit stealthy and taking out a couple of pirates with a couple of takedowns. And then, yeah, we made our way through the camp until we found ourselves a cheeky helicopter. That's our ticket out of here, right? Now, we have to be careful because there's a dog about, and dogs, you know, they catch your scent pretty quickly. So I threw a rock, he ran off, and then, yeah, we wrapped around and got ourselves onto the helicopter. We threatened the pilot, he took off, and then we get taken out by some rocket launchers. The helicopter goes down. We roll out of the wreckage to find Vas walking towards us. He shoots us. We're dead. Game over, right? Nope, you're wrong. We wake up in a pile of bodies. We crawl out of these bodies. You find Dennis astonished that we're alive, and it turns out that he shot the lighter in my pocket. So, yeah, we survived once again. And then we just needed to grab our stuff back, so we went to the nearby camp, snuck in, killed a couple of boys, grabbed our stuff, and then got the achievement, Have I Told You, which is to survive the encounter with Vas, which is pretty good. And then it was our turn to go after Vas, so we went to his island where this all began. We swam across the sea, got to a dock where there's a guy throwing bodies in the water. I climbed up, he saw me, he slid off the dock and then drowned. So I guess these guys can't swim. What a noob. But we made our way into the camp, taking out a couple of boys with a couple of takedowns until we get spotted, and then it was all guns blazing. We took out some more boys. And then we got into a room and Vas had a trap set for us because apparently he knew that we were coming. Somehow he knew I wasn't dead. I don't really know how that works, because if you knew that, why did you not finish the job? Anyway, and then for some reason he's willing to pay 10,000 for my nutsack. So everyone's trying to grab my nuts now, which is fantastic. But you know, we say no to that and we say here's a grenade, blow up your little jeep, and yeah, we're going to keep pushing forward. We then release the tiger to, you know, get that assist. That tiger does some work here, I'm not going to lie. You know, we stand back and just let him do his thing. And then we make it to the final area and we're calling for Vas, and he shows up from behind the door and stabs us in the stomach. We should really be checking those corners. I don't know what Jason's playing at here. And then we end up in some hallucinogenic kind of world with a bunch of Vases like chasing us down. We have a Vector, we blow them all away, and then we make it to the main Vase and we try to stab him. He blocks it. We do that cool trick where you drop the knife and catch it with the other hand and then stab him in the chest. And then we give him a couple more stabs because we really hate this guy, so it's kind of understandable. And then we get the achievement taken for granted, which is to kill Vase, which is pretty nice. And with Fast Dead, we then set our sights on Hoyt. We tell Citra that we're going to bring her his head. And we let her know that we know a spy that can get us onto the island. So we get in contact with that agent guy again. And it turns out that he's going to be heading to Russia. And there's planes going straight over Hoyt's island. So he can drop us off if we jump out the plane. So that's pretty good. We get there and it turns out he's been attacked by pirates. So we take care of those. Then he's got to do a few repairs. So we get on this machine gun and just absolutely decimate some more pirates. And then once we're all good, we get on the plane. And then it's, you know, time for a little skydive. And then we get the achievement Hide on the Kite to deploy the wingsuit and get onto Hoyt's island, the southern island, which is, you know, that's pretty good. After we land, we head to the local town and head to a bar that Agent Willis told us about, where we can meet up with one of his agents who's currently working undercover in Hoyt's privateer army. So then we start working together. He has a plan to get me into Hoyt's army, which gives me the ability to wear their uniform and not be attacked by them, which would be ideal. So I head over to the recruitment process, I jump on a boat, I kill some dude, take his uniform and take his identity. So now I'm called Foster. And yeah, I'm part of Hoyt's army, which is pretty good because now I can go about and no one will bother me, which is, yeah, pretty nice. And then I saw a glider on a cliff and I figured I might as well get that freefall achievement, which is to drop 100 meters and survive. So I found myself a nice body of water, flew over the top of it, jumped off my glider and landed in there safely and got the achievement, which is pretty nice. Although it was pretty close because that land was a little bit too close for comfort, but you know, we survived, we got it, no worries. So now that I had freedom to roam around the island without being attacked on the roads, I decided to liberate all the outposts here. So, you know, I got done with the last one, blew up a couple of boys with some C4, sniped a couple of people, you know, all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, we got that achievement, Island Liberator, which was pretty nice. And then we also got the achievement Memory to Spare, as these two go hand in hand, as you'll find all the memory cards in the outposts. And then after this, it was time to try to build some trust with Hoyt so we can get a private audience with him. So we found out that some privateers were actually double crossers and going behind his back and making some money on the side. So we took some photos of some meetings going down, grabbed some files of the personnel involved. And then we took it all to Hoyt, and he seemed pretty happy with it. He liked the work, and yeah, the trust levels went up, which was pretty good. But then he wanted me to torture someone in his prison to get some information out of him, and he was going to watch the whole time, and it was pretty bad considering the fact that it was my little brother, Riley. I thought he was dead, but turns out he's not. And yeah, so we kind of had to torture our own little brother to, you know, get Hoyt to trust me, which is, it's pretty sad. It's pretty messed up, I'm not gonna lie. But it all bore through as Hoyt invited me and Sam to a nice little poker night. Who doesn't enjoy a good poker night? So yeah, that was our that was our private audience, that was the opportunity to take him out. But first we got that achievement Deep Cover, which was to complete the interrogation of Riley. And then we went to poker night. Good fun times, right? And then it was a pretty fun night, you know, we played a bit of poker, he offered us some drinks and stuff, until he decided to put a knife in Sam's neck, which was pretty sad. Turns out he knows who I am, he probably knew the whole time, to be fair. And then I have to play for my life, so you know, I'm betting with my life, I eventually lose, and he decides he's going to take it nice and slow and take a finger for every loss I take. And then we hit that weird vision stuff again, and we have a good old knife fight with Holt. And this fight was pretty cool. There was a lot of quick time events, but my reactions were up to par this time, which was quite nice. And yeah, we finally took him down. And then we got that achievement Poker Night, which was to kill Hoyt. And then it was time to make our escape, so we ran out the front door, took out a couple of boys, threw a grenade, blew up a jeep so that jeep couldn't chase us anymore. Found ourselves a car and drove off. We had to jump over a drawbridge that was rising up, so that was pretty epic. And then we had to make our way to the airstrip because turns out they're holding Riley there and they're going to send him off somewhere. So we get in there, we run about, we have a little search, and then we eventually find him. We get him free. We clear out the area so he can run towards the helicopter. Turns out he doesn't know how to fly a helicopter, but he learns on the job and does a pretty good job, to be fair to him. we take out a bunch of people with the machine gun on the helicopter. Pretty fun stuff. A couple of helicopters here and there as well, which is pretty spicy. And then we make it back to the doctor's house to find everyone else. But we only find that doctor, and he tells us that the jungle warriors have came and taken my friends. So Citra has double crossed me and taken my friends away, so it's time to go get those back. And so I confront her, and then she blows a bunch of pocket sand in my face and makes me go a bit dizzy. And then I start hallucinating, and I'm told that I'm ready and that my blade is here. But then I snap to it, and my blade is against Lisa's throat. And yeah, I'm given the choice. Do I save my friends or do I join the jungle warriors? Which I do decide to save my friends because I couldn't kill them. And then sadly for Citra, she does end up on death's door because Dennis gets pretty mad at me and tries to stab me. But Citra loves me, so she stands in the way and Dennis stabs her. It's pretty sad, but you know, that's what you get for stealing my friends and trying to get me to kill them. So, you know, you kind of had it coming, so sit on that. And then, yeah. Me and my friends, we all leave and we go back to our normal life, and that's the end. That is the end of the game, and we get the achievement, What a Trip. And what a trip it was. I have really enjoyed going back and playing this game again. So yeah, if you haven't played Far Cry 3 or you haven't played it in a while, I recommend go back and play it. It's still pretty good, you know. And then we began our journey collecting the last couple of achievements we have yet to pick up during our playthrough. So the first one, we grabbed that repair tool and ran over to this dude and then just gave him a little tickle with it, and he fell down and burnt to death. And yeah, that gave us the achievement for improper use. And then we found a location which is the same as the box art for Far Cry 3, which gave us the achievement Say Hi to the Internet, which was pretty good. And the next achievement I went for was to collect all of the all 20 letters. So the first thing I did was buy all the item maps, which you know, pins it all on your map, so it makes it a lot easier. And then yeah, eventually we found all 20 and got the achievement Dead Letters, which is pretty nice. And then I got the achievement Rock Always Wins, which is to distract 25 enemies with the rock. So I just sent this guy stir crazy by throwing a rock, waiting for him to investigate, and then going back to his original place. And then throwing another one, and I just kept doing this until the achievement popped. And yeah, poor dude was probably insane by this point, so I put him out of his misery by stabbing him in the back because, you know, I'm a nice guy. And then we leveled up for the last time and got the achievement Fully Inked for getting all the skill points and all the skills unlocked, which is pretty nice. And then we got our next achievement, which was Fearless or Stupid. We found this big ass hole in the water, we dived down, got the achievement, came back up, and yeah, all good. And then we moved on to get the Heartless Pyro achievement. So we had 5 kills left to get, so we killed a couple more boys, and then eventually that achievement popped, which is very nice. And then it was time to collect all those artifacts. So we only need 6, so you don't have to get them all. And with the help of the maps we bought earlier, it was pretty simple. We just had to go to their locations and pick them up. And yes, some of them were in houses, some of them were like next to gravestones, some were in caves, some were underwater. But you know, it's a bit of a mixed bag, but we got them all and we picked up that last one to get that tasty achievement. And after collecting all the relics, I had myself a special syringe recipe. So I crafted that and got myself an extra cheeky achievement. The good stuff. And then it was time to go for that poker achievement. So, you know, we sat down and played some games of poker with the boys. We need to win $1,500 in total for the achievement. And we started off pretty strong. We won our first game, knocked them all out, and got a big $750 profit. So, you know, that's halfway. That's pretty good. Sadly, that was the end of the win streak. I ended up playing 24 games of poker and lost 18 of them. Because I kept trying to beat everyone at the table, but turns out you can leave the table midway through if you've made a profit, and now add to your total winnings, which adds to the achievement total. So once I figured that out, I just started getting a tidy little profit and then leaving before, you know, I went in too hard and lost all my money. So yeah, once we figured that out, we got that achievement pretty easily. Not too bad. It's in the bag. And then all that was left was to complete these co-op maps, and sadly I had no one that I could play with right now. So yeah, we had to do this solo styles, which definitely upped the difficulty. So we dropped the difficulty. We put it on the casual just because you know, we kind of want a chance here. So yeah, we got involved, and the majority of the co-op maps weren't too bad in the sense that it was just killing enemies or protecting a boat or protecting a train, that kind of stuff, where it's just killing enemies, so you could take your time and work your way through those kind of sections. So it wasn't too bad in that fun. The hardest sections for me was when you had to plant bombs, because one character had to take a bomb and one character had to protect the bomb carrier, right? So
it was kind of one of those situations where I was trying to control both controllers at the same time, so it was kind of like patting my head and rubbing my tummy. It was yeah, it was hard to coordinate, but we did manage it. Took a few deaths, of course, but yeah, we did manage that. And then I did realize that you can use one character as bait, leave them in like an area where the enemies kind of like focus them, and you could slip past with the bombs. So that worked out quite nicely. So yeah, we managed to get through those sections, but it was definitely it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And if you ever do this solo, I would recommend having one person as like a heavy character with a rocket launcher and C4, because when these big boys show up, it's easy to deal with them with that class. And one enemy that is extremely deadly is the dogs. You can't shake them off. You need the co-op partner to shoot them off you. And if there's only one of you alive, the dog is an instant kill. So yeah, be careful about the dog boys. They're cheeky boys. So yeah, from my experience, if you can, get a co-op partner, because solo style through these maps is it's not fun. It's very tedious and a little bit grueling. So yeah, if you can, partner up. But yeah, for me, that was the solo run complete, and all the achievements for the co-op maps were unlocked. It took a while, but we got there in the end, and those were the last achievements we needed. So that was 100% completion of Far Cry 3, all done and dusted. Alright then, that is it. That's Far Cry done and dusted. Another game in the bag, 100% completion. Very nice stuff. I hope you enjoyed the video and the journey. If you did, why not hit the like button and comment down below. Tell me all about it, and if you got any suggestions for what I should play next, drop it in the comments, because I'm down to play pretty much anything, to be honest with you. And be sure to join the achievement chase by hitting that subscribe button. Get involved with the achievement journey and the progression of the account. You know, there's plenty of games to play, plenty of achievements to get, and plenty of gamer score to unlock. So yeah, get involved, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Nice one.